let's start with some of the popular menstrual products that are out there and tell us like the pros and cons and what people need to know.
We'll start with the DIVA cup. So it is a menstrual cup, and I don't know if you guys can see it, but it comes, and there's a couple of different brands of it. DIVA cup is just the name. I think they did well because people, who doesn't want to be a diva?
Yes.
But so there's one that is the Model 1 or Model 2, and the difference is only whether you've had children or not, and that's simply for sizing and for fit. The idea behind the DIVA cup is it can be used for 12 hours. You insert it vaginally, and then it's supposed to kind of create a seal around the cervix, which is where the menstrual blood comes out. So theoretically, after 12 hours, you take out this cup. It's full of menstrual blood. You wash it out in the sink, and then you're supposed to rinse it out, and then you should be able to reuse it. Well, some people want to use it because it's environmentally more friendly, right? You're not going through 20, 30 different tampons.
Yes.
You know, don't have to keep going to the store every month to buy stuff. And then some people want to use it maybe for comfort, for being more discreet, things like that, just being able to kind of take it and go. So what I want you to know, anybody listening, watching, is that just because you're using a DIVA cup does not preclude you from getting toxic shock syndrome. You
Really?
can still get it. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the disc. The disc, when we were talking about having you on, is something I had never seen.
Yes.
We have a box of them. What are they actually called? They're called...
So the disc is designed to be kind of like the DIVA cup.
We can open it up,
okay.
yeah.
So, however, it is, in this case, it's disposable. And so what you do is it is flexible, just like that, but you would squeeze it to insert it and then push it up there. You will feel this create a seal. So kind of like create a seal, right?
That seems like a lot of plastic up there.
Yes.
Like that.
And then same deal, after 12 hours, you'll kind of go up there, grab and pull it out. There's a lot of knocks on this, okay? Number one, my knock is if you're doing this for environmental reasons where you want to just have less product, this is a lot of product. You're throwing this away after every use. Granted, it's 12 hours as opposed to every 4 hours, so maybe less than tampons. Your trash is still going to smell. So there's this. There's this. And then the other thing is, I mean, this does capture a fair amount of flow, but I think there's going to be some chance of leakage on this. And I think the chance for discomfort, again, I would give this a little bit of time to try, feel it.
Now, one of the things that they say on the package that they tote is that you can have sex with this in.
Right.
Would you recommend doing that?
I don't think it's a problem because if you think about it, look at the design. It's similar to a diaphragm, right? So except that it's not fully covered. So I'm not surprised by that. And the other thing is when you pull this out, right? I think there's more of a chance of it being very messy.
Right.
Whereas at least with the DIVA cup, there's that elongated canal that's capturing more things. So you almost have a longer cup to collect the menstrual flow.
I also hear a lot of people talk about this new trend of free bleeding, which, seems very healthy. I don't know if it makes any difference or not. But of course, free bleeding is when you're using absolutely nothing and you'd probably have to be home. You know, you're just like bleeding everywhere potentially.
I don't think that's very practical. I think that's if you're into that, great. I think fewer people are into that than you think because ultimately if you have a 7-day period, what are you going to do? Just stay home, take a vacation day for 7 days?
Yeah.
I don't think that's reasonable. Now, that's a good, though, transition to using the underwear that we were talking about.
So THINX is big, and a lot of people commented on that. They loved THINX. They had great success with it. And, okay, tell us all about THINX. This company's been around for about 10 years.
Okay, so this is a company that has come out with menstrual underwear, and they have all different kinds of shapes, sizes, depending on your heavy days versus your light days. Different, like a hip hugger style kind of.
I'm going to take some and hold them up. These are awesome.
Yeah, so and kind of like a brief style. And I would say out of all these products, this one seems to be the most sort of all-encompassing for everybody. Like anybody would really have success with this unless you are just a person that doesn't want to have any of the flow around you on the outer part of the vaginal area. However, if you look at the technology with which this is made, it's very, very smart because it's a very high absorbency. You also don't have the irritation that some of these other products cause because, if you're inserting something like whether it's a tampon or a cup or something, there is some degree of irritation of that foreign body inside there. So this is nice because you can kind of just go and you're wearing underwear that's protective. It is meant to be that like you can wear it without wearing a pad or a tampon. If you have extremely, extremely heavy days, you can wear this as kind of a panty liner. So they promise that you're not going to leak. On the first day, you may need to additionally wear something. But most people that I've asked, I've looked at a lot of kind of the reviews, good and bad, have said that they really didn't need to do anything with other than have the underwear on. The only downside was that they had to have multiple pairs because, you know, one day you would have it. You can't just wash it and then quickly wear it the next day or that night. So having 4 or 5 pairs is helpful for a full coverage.
So give us the lowdown on tampons. Are they safe to insert? Pads, are they safe to have near your vagina?
So they absolutely are safe. And what I want people to know is that term organic is so confusing for consumers, right? Because you think that you're paying for something that makes it completely pure and chemical free. So what is in it? A combination of rayon cotton mix. And the reason that this whole issue even came up of the bleaching and chemicals is because in order to purify those fibers and get them to the form or shape that they need to be, these products need to go through a process, a sort of a purification process. The difference only is that these organic products sometimes will be using, let's say, organic cotton, or they will be using some other type of dye that may not have some molecule that the bigger companies are using. However, all of them will have trace bits of chemicals. It's just a very minimal difference. And I think that minimal difference is what allows you to slap that organic brand versus not. However, you have to remember that all of these are safe to use.
Really?
You shouldn't believe that buying an organic tampon is going to be better for you than buying a non-organic tampon.
I am saving $2.99 because they jacked up the price.